Hey, I'm Comrade Shane, and welcome to Juche Lessons. In this episode, we will be discussing a law in the development and transformation of the world by humanity, that the world develops in the direction of serving humanity. General Secretary Kim Jong-il once said, quote, "The greater humanity's creative role grows in transforming nature, the higher their position as the master of the world rises, and the better the material world surrounding them is changed to serve them." End quote. This is the law that shows the main direction of the domination and transformation and development of the world by humanity. This means that the world develops in the direction of better realizing humanity's independence. The realization of independence is the purpose of humanity's activities, and because humanity's demand for independence constantly enhances over time. The direction of transformation and development of the world is defined by the purpose of humanity's activities, the only dominator and transformer. For the purpose of realizing independence, humanity conducts creative activities to transform nature and society. In this process, the world develops in the direction of developing the position of humanity as master of the world. The main purpose of human activities for independence cannot be attained on a high level at one stage in history, as we discussed in the second episode. Our demand for independence corresponds to our creative ability. With the development of our creative ability, we become unsatisfied with our position in the world. Gradually, through each stage of historical development, humanity raises the demand for independence higher than the current degree of realizing it, and then struggles to meet it. This process continues down through generations, and in this process, the world develops inevitably in the direction of realizing our independence. This kind of development of the world finds its concentric expression in the expansion of the scope and intensity of nature that serves humanity. The scope and target of nature that serves humanity firstly expand in space, or width. Humanity continuously advances further on the earth and in the sea, developing underground projects, flying through the atmosphere, and even into outer space. We can convert gas into liquid, and further into solid, non-metal into metal, and artificially produce diamonds, high-intensity matter, and can artificially create plasma. Today, in the 21st century, with information science and technology, people produce and use automatic control systems such as computers that precisely replace human perception, memory, formal logic thinking, and robots that replace human physical labor. So given this, we can say the scope and target of nature that serve humanity become bigger and bigger, or wider and wider. This scope and its targets also intensify in depth. Humanity produces hybrids, and now even produces new varieties of species, thanks to the development of gene engineering. We can artificially synthesize protein, produce large quantities of insulin, growth hormone, and interferon, which had only been available in small quantities in nature. In addition to nature, the scope and targets of society that serve humanity also expand and intensify. In the replacement of slaveholder society with the feudal one, human social subjugations had not been eliminated. In bourgeois revolutions against feudal system, private ownership over the means of production and exploitative relations of human by human were still not eliminated. Thus, it only changed the form of exploitation. They are finally overcome and eliminated, however, in the socialist revolution against the capitalist system. Unlike the change of exploitative societies, such as from feudalism to capitalism, in the transition from capitalism to socialism, the reorganization of society comes to the fore and is settled after the establishment of the socialist system. The remaking of nature and the remolding of humanity also come to the fore, and as socialism advances, the transformation of society, nature, and humanity become ever more intensified. The development of the world in the direction of serving humanity is inevitable, and this is the main law in the development of the present world by humanity, a law not governed by the will of any individuals. In order to understand this law more clearly, it is necessary to mention one more thing. At present, on a global scale, the phenomena of destruction of the ecological environment is becoming serious, and social instability and social evils such as murder, robbery, addiction, homelessness, and prostitution are rampant, driving the people to insecurity, misery, and disaster. Given these facts, some people claim that the world has been converted into one confronting humanity, thus denying the law of the development of the world in the direction of serving humanity. This is a misunderstanding, however. The destruction of the ecological environment, social instability, and social evils are abnormal phenomena caused by the fact that the domination and transformation of the world are not done properly in the direction of serving humanity, of realizing our independent demand, and giving full scope to the masses' creative ability, but rather done in the direction of serving the individualism of the exploitative ruling classes, the capitalists, imperialists, and colonialists. And accordingly, this distortion by reactionaries, which tramples human activities for independence, cannot be a reason to negate the law of the development of the world in the direction of serving humanity, because their confrontation with nature is also a confrontation with the people's desire for independence. In other words, reactionaries, true to the meaning of their title, deny, obscure, and distort this law. They try to keep this law from being realized, and thus they struggle against history itself and against the masses to keep history from progressing. That's all for this episode. Check out our Facebook and Twitter pages for more Juche and DPRK content, which I will leave links to in the description of this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, so we can raise the revolutionary consciousness of the masses, and because I run solely on your motivation and encouragement. Red salute, Juche comrades!